everybody. I'm Mike Ashey, and a hearty welcome to you to our first in a series of scale model videos. Many of you know me from my scale modeling books, my dozens of magazine articles, and our new line of scale model manuals. For our first YouTube video, we thought it would be a lot of fun to give everybody a tour of our hobby studio. So, let's begin the tour right here where the magic and the creativity starts.
My main workbench has plenty of lighting, which is also perfect for taking photos. Since I'm right-handed, all my hand tools are on the lower right, glues are on the upper right. In the center is a small supply of paints and decal setting solution. As we move along the main workbench, you see a box of tissue paper, Q-tips, sanding sticks, and Ziploc bags with various grades of sandpaper. A light magnifier and a flat screen monitor for viewing digital reference complete the main workbench layout. Tools and equipment not used each day are stored in easy-to-reach bins. A closer look at the main workbench shows my handy chopper, a caliper, water for sanding, and alcohol for cleaning plastic, snippers, cutting tools, markers, and pencils, various grades of superglue, and a fan to move the vapors. My drill bits are stored in that clear plastic bin. Note how the files are organized and that the tester's glue is standing up so that it will last longer. I keep my various grades of sandpaper organized in Ziploc bags, and I go through several boxes of tissue for each project. My laptop for digital reference is easy to access, and my supply of evergreen plastic strip and rod is organized for quick access, and I have every size and shape. My main workbench and my staging benches are on wheels, and they also have shelving. Under the main workbench are bins and drawers for various supplies, all of which are marked, organized, and easily accessible. The blue drawers are also on wheels so that they can be moved around. And here in Florida, a dehumidifier is a must to remove air moisture and also dust. To the right of the main workbench is a staging bench, which has a small monitor and DVD player for watching movies. The kit boxes are used for staging parts and sub-assemblies. The gray bin stores the cutting tools and parts for my Shoreline lathe. Underneath the first staging table, I store my Dremel drill press and my Shoreline lathe. There are also more storage containers for brass tubing and stock, plastic tubing, soldering supplies, and containers for unused model parts. This is my main photography bench. Note the use of the camera tripods to position lighting and the large roll of colored paper. The overhead length of wood is used to add more clip-on lighting, and it can be moved closer or further away from the table. Underneath the photo bench are more plastic bin containers for supplies. On the other side of the studio is my stash storage. Here is my drafting table and drafting arm, which I've had since I was 14 years old. The blue sheets are background for photos. A black air purifier with an ionizer runs 24/7. And my second staging table, which is across from the main workbench. A small vacuum and Swiffer is also here to keep the floors clean and dust-free. The shelving under the second staging table has plastic bin organizers for storing ship and aircraft detail parts and other supplies. Note how the organizers and storage containers are marked for easy access. I also have a paper library. The white binders have copies of our scale model manuals, which I use all the time, and references that I've collected over 4 decades. Now let's take an overview tour of the studio. Here's the main workbench and the first staging bench, the photography bench, my stash collection, my drafting table, the second staging table, which sits across from the main workbench, a paper library, and an access walkway to the airbrush room. The plastic strips over the entrance help keep dust out. So, let's take a tour of the airbrush room. The airbrush room has two vents that pull all the vapors away from the bench and discharge them outside. There are two tables, and the total length is about 6 feet, and the depth is about 26 inches. The one on the right is a shorter table and allows for access to the storage area behind the tables. Now, let's take a closer look at what's on the table. On the right side are the supplies needed for mixing and storing paint, as well as cleaning supplies for the airbrush. The airbrush jars are for a Badger 200 series airbrush. As we move across the airbrush table, on the left side are the airbrushes, the airbrush jar tops, pipe cleaners, and glass jars containing paint and lacquer thinner. Note how everything is organized for easy access. My air supply is a CO2 tank with two gauges. The right gauge measures tank volume, and the left gauge allows me to adjust the air pressure to the airbrush. This tank will last me over a year, and it provides a quiet supply of moisture-free air. Plastic bins contain more airbrushes and jars. Plastic bags stores sections of foam board for attaching kit parts to for airbrushing. And the stash behind the airbrush tables are my collectibles. Across from the airbrushing tables is the weathering table. That coffee cup warmer is used to warm paint before airbrushing. And note how my paint brushes are organized and stored. Gloves are a must for protecting your skin from paint and thinners, and a mask protects your lungs from vapors. The bins are on wheels so that they can be moved around, and they are used for storing airbrushing and weathering supplies. The shelving under the weathering table stores various plastic containers that have different pastel dust colors and associated application brushes. I use the Pledge for coating clear parts, which helps hide scratches and flaws in the clear plastic.
Hello again. We hope you enjoyed the tour of our hobby studio and that it gave you some great ideas and inspired you. Stay tuned for our series of upcoming videos on construction, painting, and detailing for ships and aircraft. And don't forget to visit us at www.mikeashey.com. And until next time, happy scale modeling.